Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone. Thank you all for joining us in our roundtable discussion, New Technology, with our lovely speakers, the Ai Artathon winner team, Sultan Wehaibi and Saud Almajed, AI experts, and Asma Alamri, artists. And we also are having with us Ms. Halah Alsaleh, project coordinator from Saudi Authority for Data and Artificial Intelligence. We also have Célia. How are you, Célia? Célia is a curator, a designer, and a festival manager. And she was also one of the judges in the Ai Artathon Riyadh this early 2020. And also Dr. Haytham Nawar. Hello, Dr. Haytham, an associate professor and the chair, Department of Art in the American University. So before we start, I would love to give a brief introduction to the New Technology Roundtable discussion today that we're having. So the line between art, science, and technology have been merging in recent years, with creative possibilities growing as artists, designers are able to build their skills set and become increasingly ambitious in realizing their ideas. The roundtable brings together the organizers, winners, and jury members from the inaugural edition of Ai Artathon held in Riyadh earlier in 2020. As the first art-based on artificial intelligence, Artathon competition is objectives were to make connections between technology experts in AI and artists in order to realize ambitious creative concepts. It also serves as a platform to increase awareness about artificial intelligence through art, bringing together developers, programmers, and art community together in training programs and exhibition. So without further ado, let's start the questions and let's start our roundtable discussion. So I would like to start the roundtable discussion with directing the question to Ms. Halah Alsaleh by asking you, Ms. Halah, how did the idea of Ai Artathon come together, and what is the vital role of Saudi Art Data and AI Authority and the Global AI Summit in this initiative?
First of all, walaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Thank you for the brief about the art and technology. So basically, at Sadaya, we want to create and promote anything in regards to artificial intelligence and data in Saudi Arabia and globally. And we want to position ourselves through Sadaya as a leader in AI. In anything AI. So one of the side events of the Global AI Summit was the first of its kind AI Artathon. It's the first global competition where it mixes artists from all over the world and developers and AI experts. So basically it wanted to mix between the creativity and the technical side to create something that's very new and first of its kind. So Sadaya wanted to create the Global AI Summit, and the Global AI Summit has a lot of initiatives, want to talk about a lot of topics in the AI, and the first one was this year, that was a couple of months ago. It was under the theme of AI for the good of humanity. So the AI Artathon was just one side event of it, where it held its exhibition of the top 10 winners. And of course, we have with us the top winner, which is the Museum of Gans. And it wanted to highlight how the potential of AI and how we can put AI in everything. Just art is just the beginning of the potential of technology, the potential of AI, and how Sadaya can help share that with its several, hopefully, initiatives.
Thank you very much. And I want to ask now Saud from the team, Museum GAM, and congratulate you all for that, the competition. And ask you, Saud, if you can give us a brief introduction of your project and what are the challenges and how did they work and how did you work together in formulating your idea as a group?
Thank you, Dr. Effat.
Thank you.
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As you know, my team members is Sultan Wehaibi and Asma Alamri. Asma is the artist, so they help us in the artist perspective. So, and we are working on AI models. So this is our rules in this work.
Did you find it very difficult to work together, or was it so easy for you to adjust and the ideas and bring it forward?
Yes, actually it is a challenge, and Alhamdulillah, we did well. Allahumma lakal hamd. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Okay, having one of the judges as well, Célia and Dr. Haytham, coming together from different backgrounds, what was your individual criteria that you wanted to see in the artwork presented by these participants? Célia, you can answer this if you like.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for having me here for this roundtable. It's really nice and really nice to reconnect with the participants and co-judges after a few months. It's really nice to be here. So yeah, I found the Ai Artathon really interesting as an event as such, because it was the first time that I saw such a competition at such a large scale. And I believe it was really nice to, as a way to showcase a concept which is very dear to me, which is interdisciplinarity. And as Saud highlighted, all the teams were very multidisciplinary, with people coming from more art or design backgrounds, together with people coming from more engineering, programming, deep learning backgrounds. And I believe this is really important. And so I think this is really interesting to put together people from different backgrounds, different perspectives on what is creation, what is AI, and what it can do. And so this is one of the things which I was looking for in the artworks. Just to come back on how the judging process was set up, we had the jury teams were mixed between aspects and the AI contribution, and people evaluating more the, let's say, artistic contribution of each of the projects. But I think that all the judges together, both technical and artistic, had this in mind, that what we wanted to see was the novelty and like the level of change from what they were used to doing, that each of the participants, like that they were going beyond what they were used to doing in this project, and that they were kind of taking a conceptual risk, in terms of what they were developing. So to me, this was very important, that they were making the most of this very unique collaboration setup.
Great. Dr. Haytham, do you want to add to this, or do you have a different perspective?
I mean, first, again, I have to thank the MISC for organizing this, and as well, thank you all colleagues, and also the first time to reconnect again after the pandemic. So it's a half opportunity to meet you again. Hopefully soon we can meet in face-to-face. And I will start by continuing what Célia said about the importance of such initiative, because in the field of art, science, and technology, there's many initiatives around the world, mostly rather it's exhibitions or conferences actually related to the theme. but not that scale of organizing such event. First of all, it's as a competition. So the process of developing concepts and then the technical aspect of it and implementation to see a final outcome, that's one thing. And the meetups, the idea of having groups and to meet and discuss and develop together, that's the environment that they created with such event, that's very unique. And hopefully, I mean, Halah mentioned that that's an initiative that to be not only for the Saudi, but just only for it also globally. But I will add to this is very important in terms of Saudi, Arab, African, Asian, and globally. So that all blend, it's really very important. And the part of the jury or our mission as judges is, of course, we had a certain criteria that was shared with everyone from all judges. But the thing is that I've been to many exhibitions and organized myself several. And of course, you see individuals, they came with brilliant idea and using AI as a tool. And some of them, they come from a background with a little bit of help from a team, the technical team, or some of the engineers or AI expert that they actually more invest time and in terms of artistic expressions. But you look not just only for the uniqueness and the originality of the ideas, but of course, it's the process of the Artathon, the AI Artathon, it's a work in progress. So you look at the process itself and try not to evaluate a final outcome, because you see anyway the work with AI and machine learning needs a lot of time. So you actually judge the process and see how the teams are working in methodologies to apply and see if this could be a potential growth for a project and could be much bigger and bigger. And that's the ultimatum. That was a little bit a way of seeing the projects in the Artathon.
Perfect. Can we go back to Saud, and can you show us some of the work so we can remember the things that you did together, and we where's Saud? Is Saud here? I think Saud, we lost Saud, صح?
Saud left us.
Saud is gone, Saud nowhere. Okay, so let's if until Saud comes back, let's talk about the festivals, Célia, and maybe Dr. Haytham just mentioned that briefly, but I wanted to know more about these festivals that you've been working on, organizing, creating, and as a site of experimentation in the field of art and science and technology, and how would that be helpful for the audience and for the public itself. Okay, we got Saud back. Hello, Saud. Yeah. Okay. So you can go with, you can start saying Célia while Saud is here. Hi, Saud.
I will prepare the video.
Okay.
Okay. So should I answer your question now?
Yeah, I think you could answer while Saud is preparing. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, indeed, festivals are important. I think are important gatherings for arts in general, but I think especially in such let's call it a field, this art, science, technology field, which is very experimental. And because, yeah, technology, like I'm going to say obvious things, but technologies are evolving all the time, and new things are emerging and coming out. And so as this field of art is very experimental, I believe exchange is very, very key. And these festivals are not only opportunities to showcase the work to the public, as a central event where the audience can appreciate these works, which are sometimes not so accessible in traditional, let's say, year-round art channels. But there are also opportunities for artists to get together and to exchange, to get to know other artworks, other practices, and share their methodologies, their research. And I think the word research here is really interesting because in such a field, yeah, the art practice is very similar to the process of scientific research, and very often it goes parallel. A lot of artists cooperate with scientists, with researchers, and on this, coming again to the Ai Artathon, this type of collaboration between someone with a more art background and someone with a more scientific background is what we see happening also with professional artists and artworks. And so a bit like, and so in this, art, science, and technology festivals tend to become a bit like a researcher conference in a way, where people will exchange and share their methodologies, their results, and new collaborations will emerge from this. So to be a bit more specific about the festival I work for and I co-organize, it's called Sensorium. It's taking place in Central Europe, in Slovakia. And it brings together artists and technologists from all around Europe with a focus on Central and Eastern countries, but not only. And so what we see is that we have a very strong sense of community with people coming back because they enjoy the platform that the festival is for exchange and collaboration and emergence. And so I believe this is really important, and I hope that in a way, the Artathon can also maybe have such a role of becoming a platform. And so I don't know, like, what are your projects in terms of future collaborations with your partners or with other team members? But I think creating connections is really important in such a field, and all will say that it benefits not only the artists, but also the scientists, because it's two different mindsets coming together and creating innovations in all fields. Oh, Effat, we can't hear you.
Muted. Please.
Yes, sorry. I said it's great. I will get back to you again while Saud just give us a brief introduction of his work. Saud, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So tell us about the project itself. So what are you thinking, and why did you?
Did you hear the sound?
No, we can't. I can't hear it.
Wait a moment. Okay.
So,
okay.
So why did you decide to choose a museum?
I see, actually, from business side, I see, as you know, the artwork is not cheap. So there's a business opportunity to build AI model to generate artworks that you can sell in the market. So what I'm seeing, there's a gap they can fill using AI. Mm-hmm. In the art or visual branding industry. So yes, this is what I'm thought. Yeah.
Okay, great. And coming to what Célia was saying, it's the network and the connection that this festival brings together. And I think it benefited not just the participant, it benefited us as well as a jury, as people who are connected with that in that field. For example, what made this connection with me as what happened to me is building this connection between the jury, Célia and Dr. Muhammad and Dr. all the people that we work together. I'm not going to say names now, but it opened up opportunity for also the students in the university, because they got the ideas of bringing new research opportunities and new research project to involve AI in their project, in their art projects. So tell us more about also, Dr. Haytham, your participation in the festivals and how that art and science and technology build that opportunities of networking and connection and build the opportunities of creativity as well.
So I can give a little bit of a brief about what's happening in the region. So, because I mean, the history of media art, working with art and technology is more than 40 years. And then there is, I mean, Célia, she just mentioned about Sensorium Festival, which I would say in Western Europe, they're more, and also Far East of Japan, they're more fortunate by having pioneering the field since a long time. But in our area, which I mean, North Africa and Middle East, which is the MENA region, we are not that fortunate in terms of organizing festivals. So we have individuals for sure. There have many artists. They worked especially in the late 90s and in that area is the idea of interdisciplinarity between art and science and technology, but all are individuals. So we have lack of institutions in terms of education. So we don't have new media arts education. And we don't have as well festivals, which I mean by festival, not only the time of when we are actually running an event for 1 week or more or less, but actually platforms that actually that brings everybody together. Everybody together, but that meaning is actually artists, designers, scientists, engineers, AI experts, that these people, they need a platform that they can actually meet, collaborate, exhibit, talk, discuss, show methodologies, and so on. So from my experience, I started to work on organizing a festival in Cairo. First, it's few exhibitions, and then it comes the festival, which I'm running with my friends in Cairo. It's called Cairo-tronica. It's Cairo Electronic and New Media Art Festival, which actually concern about that type of art, which intersect between art, science, and technology, but focusing on the region, focusing on promoting artists from the region, and also bring that type of art to our region, that people, they can get more exposure to that type of art. So we try to create this safe zone, if I might say, that people can express and work together and see the artworks, and of course try to invite curators and organizers that they can see that type of work, so it can easily encourage artists from the region that they exhibit the work abroad, and also for the artists and even the audience that they don't have the chance to travel abroad and see big festivals in Europe and the US and in Asia, they actually can see the artwork exhibited in Egypt. And hopefully we can actually move this to different other cities. But so the festival in Cairo is to encourage that kind of practice and create this environment that people can actually share thoughts, ideas, and artworks. And as well as, that's our new approach, is actually creating this alternative educational methods. So we created the residency that people can actually have a few months working together. We created fellowships, which is it's like an alternative educational set of lectures and seminars and workshops, because we don't have any educational system focused on that type of art. So we try to give alternative solutions in terms of education as well, not just only the festival and the opportunity to exhibit the work.
Great. I'm with you 100% in terms of education and in terms of rethinking our new programs in the universities and the colleges. But I would like to direct the question also to Ms. Halah again and ask her about what is the possibility of the Saudi Authority of Data and Artificial Intelligence would be involved in creating this connection with the university and building up this community of educators and bringing up this process of understanding these links between the interdisciplinarity of disciplines, as we says.
Well, thank you, Dr. Haytham, for a lot of things you mentioned. I have a lot of points to add to them, or to link them with what we're talking about in regards to technology and AI, and to Daya to be specific, which is the Saudi Data and AI Authority. Well, to answer your question, Sadaya, has a lot of initiatives. And we already created a couple and started with this step, which was another side event to the Global AI Summit, which was the NEOM Challenge. And with this NEOM Challenge, there was a lot of, all the universities in Saudi Arabia were connected through this challenge to create ideas and to generate ideas using artificial intelligence and data for ideas that could be innovative, that could change the concept of how we deal with things, how we work with things. And this was the main concept of the NEOM Challenge. And they linked all the universities, all the professors, and they had a lot of sessions where they had a lot of talks and about what could they add, what could they create in the future, and how can they add it to NEOM. Of course, it's the city of the future, so how can they add it, and how can they implement these amazing, extraordinary, out of their ideas you think they would be implemented, that trying to implement. And that's how we're trying, through one initiative, at Sadaya, to use and see the potential of AI through the students, through the professors. And there are a lot of initiatives in the future that Sadaya also plans to create, either to have a AI Artathon that expands even more, or a NEOM challenge that's a different type. The initiatives all center around technology and how we can foster the youth and the potential of ideas that we haven't implemented yet through initiatives in Sadaya. And I would like to also add and give a brief about the Artathon, since I don't think we had like a brief about it. It was the Artathon, how the artwork that Saud just showed was created was through 3 phases. The first phase was a three-day boot camp. And the boot camp basically got everyone from around the world. That was how the main idea we wanted to create. We wanted to bring all over the world, what can they put in AI and art. So there were over 2,000 participants. And of course, the judges, they were more than, they saw all the details, they saw all the projects, they saw all the ideas. And then based on that, they chose 20 groups. And of course, when they created the groups initially, they met by accident. They basically went there and they said hi to that person. So you had that connection. You could have met someone from Tunis, which was what happened with me. You could have met someone from all over the world, and you met new people and you shared their knowledge. And then after the judges and after the judges created and chose 20 groups, they went to the 7-week program. And within the 7-week program, there were sessions from all over, from people internationally. An AI art curator, someone specialized in artificial intelligence music. And we had like a lot of informative sessions with these participants. So we talked about everything. We went as to what is chaos and how can we code chaos? What is chaos? So you can go to abstract ideas, and then you go deep and deep and deep, and then analyze it even more. And then even develop the ideas they created. So for example, you had an idea for a museum of GANs, and then initially it was minor, and then after the 7-week program with the mentors, with the ideas, you even enhanced it even more. You exceeded the data set. You had more artwork for the artists. And then after this 7-week, you had a presentation where you showcased exactly what was shown, what did the groups create. And then the top 10 were chosen. Mm-hmm. And then the top 10, of course, there was an amazing achievement for them. So congrats to them. And then they showcased all the artwork in the Global AI Summit. And the Global AI Summit even aims to further answer your question, aims to and Sadaya to have even more initiatives. So now we're talking about art. Of course, art is very general, but you can talk even more. You can take it further. You can say business. You can have startups within artificial intelligence. You can go agriculture. You can go all about the fields. And this is what Sadaya is trying to do through its strategy, which was also shared in the Global AI Summit a national data and AI strategy that aims to lead and make Saudi Arabia a lead in AI in all fields, in entrepreneurship, arts, music, and even more. So yeah, that's the basic idea and how we want to even add students to it, professors. It's endless, and everyone is involved in this.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I would just like to and you tell the audience that we share the festivals on the live chat if you want to go and link and see it, and the Global Arts Summit as well. So again, let's we discussed about the entrepreneur and the possibilities of producing new initiatives and new ideas, as Dr. Haytham and Célia mentioned the need and the gap, and this is what we need, and how can we think about differently. So what do you think of entrepreneurial aspects in art and design in itself? How do you define it? How do you think about it? And where does it go in art and science and technology as well?
On this, I can answer if you want, yes, because like, to me, this is really important. I said earlier how I believe the collaboration between artists and engineers or scientists can be very fruitful. And for instance, last year I was collaborating with a digital art studio in Berlin, which was focused on AI art, so the Studio World Binaire. And what was interesting with this place was that on the one hand, they were developing artworks in the name of the studio director, Christian Leclerc. For instance, we produced a sculpture which was designed using GANs, and which we produced in marble, carved by a robot. And this sculpture, which is called Helen, recently won the Lumen Prize for Arts and Technology about a month ago. So, but on the other hand, we were using the same skill set to develop industrial-oriented projects. So the same expertise that we developed in terms of shaping 3D objects using GANs, we were applying for a prototype of AI-assisted car design, which we developed with an engineering consulting company. So on this, I think it's really interesting to see how the artistic research, which is very experiment-oriented, was fulfilling, was enabling a more industry-oriented research and a more business-oriented process. And right now, I'm no longer working in Paris, but I'm working in Paris and collaborating as well with a startup here, which is using GANs for images. So exactly the same technology, which was introduced by Saud in his artwork Museum of GANs. So this same type of deep learning algorithms, we're actually using them at this startup to develop images for e-commerce and fashion. And I think this whole field of AI and creativity is really interesting because it's actually artists and researchers and engineers are on the same level of technical craft and mastership of the technology, and at the same level of experimenting what can be done with it. And then what is done in one field or the other fuels the whole circuit of experimenting and finding new things with technology. And so I said earlier that I was surprised and in a very positive way by the size and scale of the Ai Artathon. This is because being in the field for a few years in Europe, I was used to seeing it from a kind of niche perspective, that we were a group of people experimenting with arts and technology and artificial intelligence. And the Artathon, I felt something really nice about it was that it put it in the spotlight, this type of experimenting. and showcase the potential it can have in a broader view for the future uses of new technology. So I don't know if that was your perspective on it, but to me, this was really interesting because I think it really, using the art perspective on research and experimentation really does help the progress in terms of using the technology more broadly in society.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I just want to give some questions because the chat, we have lots of questions coming on. So one of the questions is by Saud Almajed, and she's saying, commenting, saying she was part of the Ai Artathon with Halah, and was for her this was an excellent experience. And her question was, what is the panel's thoughts on AI lead design in the field of arts and building design?
I might jump here to the conversation.
Okay.
I mean, I just want to add one thing to Celia's opinion about the information, and then I'll go back to the question, which is the idea of this platform that combines people from different backgrounds, what is needed in the field of industry. So being preparing creative solutions for ideas such as cars or architecture and urban planning, or so normally designers or architects, they will work alone by themselves, but adding maybe artists or AI experts or people that come from different backgrounds. This laboratory concept as the methods to work and solve problems, to create creative solutions. That is much needed for now. That's why they call it creative industry. That's what's much more needed now for the industry, and most of the big companies rely on entrepreneurial ideas to solve this, working together. To the question of AI to lead in terms of design. So I don't want to go and define the term artificial intelligence from the beginning, because artificial intelligence, it's actually based on human intelligence. It's not really, the machine itself is not really intelligent, but it's based on the human intelligence. And so AI cannot lead without a human actually built the database that actually created the part where the machine will generate or help or develop other designs in general. So in my field, at least, which I come from a design background, and I mean graphic design background. So now we are working for a project, for example, to generate graphic design, posters, and publication design, editorial design, completely done by AI, but without having actually a human being behind to give all needed data. Of course, the AI will not lead and generate designs by itself. It needs to have design foundations, applications, and a lot of data to feed data that could actually generate what is needed as design. And I see Halah is shaking her head, and I would like to hear from her if she disagrees with what I'm saying.
Yes.
No, it is. It's talking about AI in general. You can talk for ages about AI, and of course, nothing you can do in AI isn't without the interaction of humans. But the idea, of course, it's a concept, and I can't define something that's already been defined, and it has a lot of different ideas as well. But you can have a lot of ideas for it. For example, just for the human interaction, you need it at first, and then you were not going to need it. That's it makes it easier. Why do you need AI? Because initially you're going to build it, and then you're going to increase by time. So also to answer the question, which is the art and building design, it's going to make it easier. Of course, this is a topic that can be controversial. It could be the complete opposite. Someone would say it's not going to make it easier. It's going to be the complete opposite. It would remove the need of humans. But in the end, no, like you said, it's the collaboration and the addition of both human and machine. So when you add AI, it could just enhance the idea of someone that had this idea. It could make it even better, or it could remove the possibility altogether. You just don't need that field, for example, or you need a new field. So you keep adding and you keep adding ideas with AI with the help of humans. Not always necessarily with the help of humans, but initially you're going to need them, of course. So just that comment in the beginning. Of course, I can't say that because I'm not an AI engineer myself, but it's a concept you can have and think of, because a lot of people can have different inputs in that. Just to have that answer, just that comment about this, which I agree 100% with everything you said.
Pushing boundaries with the technology of AI or any other technology is just pushing boundaries of the human beings.
Exactly.
Pushing boundaries everywhere, not just the human being, even everything around us. Coming to that is also, I have one question. It's also been questions coming from the floor as well. The connection between art and technology, and what is the gap between them? How can we bridge this gap between these different disciplines? And putting that forward, I wanted to ask also about the different type of thinking of the new paradigm in art education in the future, and how can we see the education in the future with the traditional paradigm and the new paradigm in terms of AI and technology and design as well. Where are we now, and what do you want to be? What do you want to see in the future, especially from your side, Dr. Haytham as a chair, an artist, Célia, Halah, from your perspective as also a director in this movement.
I can briefly start about how to. The question was how to merge technologies and art and what's the potential of it. I think we've seen the potential of AI, and we keep seeing potential, especially with the arts. At Sedaya, we aim to be a pioneer through the national strategy. The national strategy for AI and data, which is NUSTI. And through this strategy, we aim to have a lot of things, like I mentioned before. And one of these is how to merge technology and how to create entrepreneurial opportunities through technologies and art. Of course, that's just one of the many things that the strategy aims to achieve. And other than the strategy and how to merge technology and art, you need to have art and culture in Saudi, and there's a lot of amazing ideas here. And one of the ideas, and many of the ideas that won in the AI Artathon, were how to merge culture, the artistic culture here in Saudi Arabia, which is so full of culture and so full of ideas, with AI. So imagine that potential, and just apply that potential with other things, with other ideas, with other concepts. It's endless. So it's just how to add human creativity and human thinking and human experience, and the technical ideas used by AI and machine learning and data in general. So it's the answer is it's endless. How can you merge them? It's like you have a lot of ideas in them.
Okay.
If you have any additions.
So Célia, you have something I think to add?
Yeah, because you were also asking about education and possibilities to improve the collaboration between the two fields. Maybe my answer will be very European, and I think education is probably very different in the Arab world and Africa, especially around topics of technology. But I would say that here in Europe, something which I'm hopeful will change, because it's, to me, I see it as an issue here. It's that careers and education is very segregated between humanities and more science and technology oriented paths. And there is a gap of exchange between the two. And so there's a lot of prejudice from both parts, I would say, from artists against technologists and from technologists against artists, except a small fringe of both, which is collaborating and which is the one that I enjoy being in. But in the general view, there is a tendency from artists from others to misinterpret some of the impact that technology can have. And this misinterpretation is rooted a lot with the idea that technology is meant to replace them. And so then it's more a fear and a reluctance to use the tools because they're perceived as a threat. And on the other hand, I would say it's the same problem, but taken from the other side, that some researchers, scientists, technologists will assume that their technology is actually meant to replace humans and to be better than humans. And they end up having a kind of hubris and a kind of like overconfidence in the fact that their technology will be better than humans. And I think none of these perspectives is true, that AI is not meant to replace humans or to be better than humans. I believe that technology is here to help humans become better. And that the point here is more about collaboration and about what technology can bring to humans and what humans can achieve by using the technology. And I think this change of perspective is really important if we want to encourage fruitful collaborations, because so I believe that so long as technologists will develop creative technologies by thinking that these technologies will replace artists, they will not create meaningful or interesting innovations. And I believe that the counter attitude, which is of some artists to refuse technology for being afraid that it will replace them, is also not interesting. So I think it's about changing this mindset and bringing the two together, because it's meant as a collaboration. And I believe that so the most interesting AI artworks recently are those that walk on this line of questioning the collaboration between the man and the tool, and the man and the machine, and the humans and AI. And this is where questioning is interesting, in my view, and where very thought-provoking and inspiring artworks are created. I don't know if Haytham has a different view on this or what.
Yeah, Dr. Haytham.
Not really a different view, but I will add one thing to your last point and then talk about education in the Arab world. So first, I mean, technology as the word, it's in our language, the Arabic language, is taqniyah, which is we actually, technology goes parallel with the whatever creative practices is going. So if you blend colors for oil paint, that's a technology. So technology is always a tool. So it's always going through history. It's a tool with people that they have creative ideas and they want to express their ideas. So whether it's digital, electronic, or whatever kind of technology, so it's always a tool that does exist to be applied in different fields, but also artists, they might have the access to technology and then come up with the creative solutions using this type of technology to communicate with communities. Also might, in terms of putting into the market, that they can actually create creative solutions for the industry. So that's just to complement what you just said about the use of technology and this dilemma of like, who's taking the place of whom? And I think this is an invalid question anyway. But coming back to the idea of education in the Arab world, I think our academic institutions, at least I will talk from the art background. So our academic institution, since it is part of a university system, that we are always trapped of the university system, because we apply same as the engineering, which is talking about science and technology, and art, which is talking about humanities and social sciences. So you apply both all these fields under one umbrella, which is the university system, which is, again, it's needed for degrees and blah, 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 blah. I can speak until the next day about this, the curriculum and the degrees and so on. But art academies, they should be completely separated from a university system. And it used to be like this in earlier time until maybe Second World War, and then everything changed. And then in Europe, even the Bologna system, which is now having a unified degrees, but it should be a place for creating novel ideas. It's for developing concepts, not a place that to actually work on techniques, because technology changes all the time, but it's always needed. So you can always work on techniques, different type of technologies to be used, but you need to invest in brains. You develop ideas, you bring people to work on your concepts, and then you will learn the tools, any kind of tools. It's the best way to express your ideas. It's the best way to communicate with others using best technology, a mean of technology that could help you to do so. It might work only for experimentation and exhibit the work in exhibitions, museum, and so on, or also could be implemented for the market or the creative industry and make solutions and make a lot of money. But in the end, that this mindset need to change about education in general. I think that exists in the Arab world and all over the world, especially also in the UK and the US. Some few individual academic institutions that actually went out of this system. And of course, it's for parents, if I would say, it's a little bit risky that you send your son to this laboratory, but your son or daughter to this laboratory, not into a whole university system, because again, we all care about degrees, and then we will be having the job after graduation. And of course, for elder generation, art is not the best way to get hired.
Okay. Thank you. It's we have 10 minutes. I think also we're gonna take another question from the audience. One question from Rafif Karakitan. How are you, Rafif? She's saying, my question is, what are the some of the tools for creating art that the panel would like to explore and learn? And the second question is, there anything related to technology and art that the members of the panels are working on in the near future?
Okay.
I don't know, Saud, if he's doing something new. We're missing Saud, I think, again. But we have Célia and Dr. Haytham.
I mean, for my part, I mean, we're working on the next edition of Kaitronica. It will be in April 2021, and it will be partially face-to-face, and other part will be actually online. So we're developing our own platform so we can merge between both. And of course, the uncertainty, we don't know actually what will happen next month, but we are working for alternative solutions. That's from my side.
In terms of festivals, are you connecting also to a global audience or just Cairo, Egypt?
No, we connected to, I mean, you mean audience by seeing the website? But I mean, before or after the pandemic, because that's
yes. That will lead us to another question also from the audience. Célia, do you have anything?
Yeah, my answer was about the same, saying that my answer would be about this specific context that we're in, that, yeah, namely we're here having this roundtable on Zoom. And to me, one main field of experimentation that we all need to explore is how do we address how do we create meaningful and impactful distant experiences? How do we, I don't know, make more than a Zoom call? And I've seen experiences like fairs in VR. Last week there was a VR fair in Paris. So it's a commercial fair about VR and XR solutions. And so for this edition, they created the whole fair in VR for people to attend it. It was kind of gadgety, but I thought it was nice that they did it and that they experimented this way of conveying their event. And yeah, I've seen lots of experiments, not all of them successful or impactful, but I think definitely this is anyone who has a great idea or something they want to try about this, please do try it. And I think Dr. Haytham will agree with me that all festival organizers, all events organizers are just desperately looking for the right solution.
Yeah, I mean, it's an open question yet.
Exactly.
People are still looking for, I mean, technology are there, but still, you asked Effat about the audience, because again, yes, the online, the virtual space is still there, but people, they get bored after 5 minutes of seeing something or listening to someone. And I mean, in our fields also, we are not entertainers. We're not used to keep people looking at us more than 5 minutes. So we need creative solutions. I mean, she mentioned about the VR exhibition in the fair in Paris, but there is this much older and more experienced festival, Ars Electronica in Linz. They tried to do online version of their work and visits, and they tried also the VR Impact Festival in Utrecht and Netherlands. People start trying to find solutions. And honestly speaking, I didn't see 100% successful example. Still always there is people, it's an open question. So hopefully, and I open the call. If somebody have creative ideas, please, desperate.
They're asking us for creative ideas. So one of the question is, what do you feel missing in bridging the emerging technology and art? So I don't know if you have question. We just said it's very difficult for us to, and it's just a raw experience for everybody to start experimenting as well. So yeah, we have only 5 minutes. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to put forward.
There's a question here I would like to because
okay.
That question comes from whom, but there is an important, how important are informal forms of education, like short master classes and so on. Honestly speaking, from a purely, somebody works in academia for 20 years now. So, and 2020, I'm 20 years in academic institutions. So I would say that's the future of education. That's the what you call informal forms of education. That's the future of education.
Yes.
Once we change the mindset of getting degrees, then we will be leading the whole humanity will go to another dimension, let's say.
There's another thing saying that the art residencies and like small workshops and short courses are the new educational format that artists would go forward for it. Yeah. And especially with your experience with the residency that you have in Cairo as well, right?
Yes, I mean we try to find alternatives because also being forced to do so because we don't have any programs. But in bigger scope, really informal education is the future of education. Somebody like me might be fired from his job because what I'm saying, but this is really the future, at least in art and technology and science. And I know Célia agrees on that.
Yes, and I would recommend this not only for artists, but for everyone. And especially, I mean, when it comes to the topic of technology, we said it earlier, it's an obvious thing to say it changes all the time. And so you just learning new tools is a form of education. And so we constantly upgrade what we are, our level of knowledge. And I think it's a general mindset that I totally agree that the idea that you do university at the beginning of your career, and this will be the foundation for everything you need to know for the rest of your whole life. I think this is over for everyone, and that we just need to be in the mindset that periodically or continuously, depending on how you how your mind is set up, you will need to learn new things and update on new things going on in the world. And I think this is this is useful for, this is a mindset which is useful for everyone in every field.
Okay, I'm going to go to Halah quickly. Sorry, I'm going to go to Halah quickly just to maybe for the last question. Halah, how do you see the future of Ai Artathon in the kingdom as an important tool to creative innovation and creative industry?
Ai Artathon this is just the beginning for how we can use AI in a lot of fields. AI with art, this is just the beginning. We can go with anything in art. We can use our creative minds in the kingdoms to output so many creative outputs. So this is just the beginning. We will have so many initiatives with Célia that will highlight the amazing efforts that the kingdom does, that the youth, that the universities.
I don't want to. I don't want to stop you because also we have the 30 seconds, and I want to thank you all for this round table discussion. It was wonderful. We have lots of things, lots of ideas, and I'm sure our discussion won't stop just now. I'm sure we're going to go lots of discussion further, inshallah, in the future. Hopefully we can change and promote and add to the industry of art, technology, and science in the Gulf and in the kingdom and everywhere. Thank you all. Thank you very much, and thank you for the audience. And that's it. I think we're off. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.